All right, all right, all right. Let's get into this one, man. I see my boy. You see my boy Nick Ball laid out on the canvas, man. I couldn't believe it when y'all put that out there when I was live earlier. For those who's in that earlier live stream, and while live, I thought people were joking, like trying to prank me because they know I like Nick Ball as a fighter, man. And so they putting that out there because we clown a lot on here. And I'm like, man, these fools in here lying like a mug in here, joking because I didn't call the damn fight, trying to change the subject on the topic I was on. And so I had to go back and watch it. And that boy Brandon Figueroa did his damn thing in this fight. And I also got to say this about the commentary because when I went back and watched the full fight, I'm listening to the commentators, listening to the way they score. Commentators don't mean anything. They're just calling it on their perspective. And I think the way in which the commentators were calling the fight, they didn't believe none of the shit they were watching. And as far as scores go, because I end up hearing that the judges had Brandon Figueroa actually up before the knockdown. I hear two of the judges had Brandon Figueroa up before the knockdown was scored. And I think they were up. I didn't think I heard the score that they had it. Hold on, let me go try to find that real quick. Let me see. Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. Scorecards. But I did hear that they said that two of the judges had him up. Let me see if I can get the actual scorecards. They ball full card results. Let me see if this is going to work. But in this one, I didn't have it as a close fight. I couldn't be biased on this one. I didn't have this as a close fight at all. I had Brandon Figueroa on the wide scorecard. I think I may have only given my boy Nick Ball. I may only give my boy Nick Ball like fucking 3 rounds, maybe. I'm gonna go through my scorecard. I'm gonna go the way that I saw the rounds. But I think they hold on. Do I see the cards? I'm still looking for the scorecards for this one. And a lot of people always coming up with this stuff of what happened. You go overseas, they gonna poison your water, they gonna cheat you on the scorecards, they gonna do this. Man, none of these fools know a goddamn thing until the fights are made, and then after the fight happens. These fools don't know nothing. Let me see. I'm not finding the scorecard. I was hoping I would have found something. Or if somebody found something, if they can write that in the chat. If you've seen a completed scorecard put out here, let me see. Can I go on Twitter on this mug? Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can go on Twitter, and I'm gonna go into what I saw with the fight without signing in. Do I gotta sign in to Twitter? Yep, they're gonna make me, and I'm not. All right, so but like I say, I had this as a wide fight. I didn't have this one that's close. Says Figueroa says Street about to be litty. Says about to be litty. And the other thing that stood out to me with Figueroa's boxing style, so you can definitely tell that there was someone new brought in here to train Figueroa for this fight, because Figueroa didn't fight in that old sloppy ass lean on you style. He didn't fight on that lay on you, lean on you, wear you down style. He fought as a tall fighter, even though he squats down, giving up his full height, but staying on the outside range. He worked off of that lead hand, throwing the timing on that left hand. Very good style that he came in here with. Salute to Manny Robles to changing this dude up, fine tuning some things, and he went in here and worked. Nick Ball, who is accustomed to whooping taller fighters' asses. Box Sparring says, so that was a banger of a fight. Says, I like both fighters. Says, Ball came up short tonight. Says, but we'll be back again. I don't think Ball will want to fight this fight again. I think there was just a very difficult fight for Ball. He faces a lot of issues fighting this dude. The one thing about this fight is Figueroa never took a step back. Figueroa never gave ground to Nick Ball, not once in this fight. The most that Nick Ball would do to even have Figueroa go back was when Nick Ball will engage into a locker with him and then try to push him across the ring. And that was done for Nick Ball because it ended up tasking him, because it took a lot of strength and a lot of stamina to try to move Brandon Figueroa back. But as far as doing it with his hands, Figueroa never took a step back and constantly kept gloves on him. And he says Says shout out to Figgy, says, and the new WBA champion, says the what is that, broken heart, says I guess heartbreak kid, says Brandon Figueroa. And then he says them UK fans, says, really show their ass tonight, says Manny Robles, says got them UK fighters numbers. Oh yeah, they were probably definitely pissed by this one, man. That's understood. They're definitely pissed by this one and hurt, because Nick Ball was a dude representing his homeland very well. And then to bring in a foreigner over to this country and this foreigner knock him the fuck out, that shit was hurt. That shit was hurtful. I see one of the members on Nick Ball team try to run over there and rush him. Shit, you just watch the best dude in your camp get knocked the fuck out. Don't get your dumb ass knocked out because you want to be emotional. And the Velocity cut said left jab, uppercut, leave you on the floor. Nick Ball should have practiced mode. And then Velocity cut says Figueroa Street about to be litty tonight. And he says those UK fighters, says, are cursed against those Mexicans, man. It just depends on who they in the ring with. Box Spartan said, did you see interview with Manny Robles saying there was issues with the gloves? I saw that, but if there was issues with the gloves, they got it handled. They got it fixed. Yeah, I see that Nick Ball gloved up without them being in the dressing room. I heard that. But it didn't have any impact on that fight. It says Robles took AJ strap, says, and now Ball strap. Yeah, Robles is a hellified trainer, man, and you can clearly see a new version of Brandon Figueroa and shit. And so this is the way I had this thing scored. I think I get Nick Ball only 3 rounds in this fight. I had it 107 to 102, being that the final round was a score. So at the 11 rounds, I have him up by a lot. Yeah, I don't have anything that I gave to Nick Ball in this fight. Just had him really, really coming up short in these rounds. And anytime he'll land and get off on Brandon Figueroa right back on him. Work him to the body, putting him on the ropes, not over smothering him, not over smothering his work, making sure with what he put out there count. And he did a hell of a job. And then to go into this 12th round and finish him off. Because this is the other thing. I saw Nick Ball getting tired. And I have my notes. I saw Nick Ball get tired. What round was that? Nick Ball run the round, says, but Nick Ball in round 10, I watched Nick Ball get off. Nick Ball got off. And the activity from Brandon Figueroa was slowed down in round number 10. Going into round number 11, I noticed something different with Nick Ball. Nick Ball started the round tired. He looked tired and started to slow down based on the work he gave in round 10. Then I put that Nick slowly started to pick it up in that round. Then when he walks into round number 12, immediately Brandon knocks his ass out. Immediately, within 10 seconds of that round, he's on the ground and looking like it was over with. It was simple as that. But let me go through my scoring from round 1 through 12. I had Nick says Nick landed a big shot, says, and for a short time, says Brandon resorted back to his old style of smothering. So he got caught in that first round, Brandon, because Brandon was fighting good on the outside, utilizing a little bit of his range. Nick Ball was very, very, very explosive in how quick he closed the range to get his shots off, being way shorter fighter. Nick Ball like 5'3". Brandon Figueroa like 6'1" or some shit. Immediately landed a big shot on Brandon Figueroa, and I said, oh, Lord, here go Brandon Figueroa going back to this leaning, laying on you style, the same style he was fighting. He fought every other fighter with. I think he was taught by his dad that shit. I think his dad taught him that old sloppy-ass style of fighting that he used to fight, whoever it was. But he resorted right back to that. Going into round 2, Nick was landing clean shots to the head and the body of Brandon. Says Brandon didn't land many clean shots in that round number 2. And therefore, I think I gave round number 2 over to, who did I give round 2 to? I gave round 2 to Brandon Figueroa, though, because his activity. So I gave it to him based on his activity and him getting off, even though Nick Ball was landing clean shots to the head and body. Brandon didn't land many clean shots, but his activity gave the round to him for me. Round 3 says Brandon turned up the volume, says and pressure in round number 3 is pressuring him. You start seeing moments, Nick Ball having to take deep breaths. I don't know if the activity was something he wasn't used to, maybe the weight of Brandon Figueroa, who knows what it was. And then round number 4, I had Brandon, says Brandon outworked Nick again, says had him pressured on the rope, says and punched him into the body. He was punishing the body, getting work off. And even the Manny Robles post-fight interview, I was listening to it to where they said their plan in this one was to chop wood, and they did an effective job because a lot of good body shots placed on a much shorter fighter by a tall fighter. He's able to get them punches into the body, and it's probably what started causing Nick Ball breathing kind of heavy at times, his mouth open at times. Then going into round 5, this is a good round for Brandon Figueroa. You start to see blood coming out the nose of Nick Ball. Nick Ball in that round, he had a couple of good moments. You had these moments to where the announcers calling this fight were a little super excited over that, and that was making them, Nick is doing this. And then you had that crowd that will finally wake up and go into their cheers. And then you have Brandon get right back on his ass. Round number 6 says the volume in the round slowed down. So this is a real slow round. But Brandon, for me, ended up winning that round. The commentators had it wrong. I was listening to commentators talking about how well Nick was doing. Nick was doing this and that, and Nick wasn't. There was a lot of dead space in the moments in the round where he wasn't really working enough to steal the round. Round number 7 is this was a good round for Nick. Says, but he had to work. Says he put together multiple series of combinations for round 7 for me. Round 8, I had where Brandon ended up hurting Nick, and this is at the 15-second mark going into the final round. So about 15 seconds left in that round. So 15 seconds left in that 8th round. After they come into where they engage into a tie-up, the ref breaks them. This is the final breakup in that round. It's 15 seconds left in the round. As soon as they get back into engaging, Brandon lands 2 clean-ass right hands on Nick. Lands 2 clean ones, and the mugs buzzed this fool Nick Ball. Nick Ball was buzzed by that shit. And he says the volume was, in this round, Brandon's activity just outworked him. Says, and this is what I'm talking about, where the crowd got animated in this round when Nick Ball would get off a few series of combinations, land a few shots, and they were amped up by that. Round 9, Brandon maintained the fast pace and pressure. He attacked Nick to the body a whole lot, says, while pressing him to the rope. Says Nick had his little spurts of activities, but it wasn't enough. It was a lot of him having to move back. He moved back a lot. He ended up being put in the corners a lot, put against the ropes a lot, being punched from the outside, left hand coming straight down the line. And what's his name? Left hand looked clean in this mug, Brandon Figueroa. Never seen Brandon Figueroa work like this. And then I have round 10. Nick won that round, says, with the cleaner shots. Brandon's activity in this round was very, very low. So I don't know if he took the round off because of the activity he gave in round number 9. But with Nick getting off in round number 10, and putting out more activity in this round, it cost him around 11 to me. He looked a little tired. He ended up having to catch his wind. He didn't get off early in that 11th round. He looked a little bit tired. He started to pick that shit up. He still looked a little bit faded in round number 11. I still gave him who I get around to. I think he came up short. He didn't get off enough. I ended up getting that round to Brandon Figueroa. Then we go into round 12. That was all she wrote. As soon as the round started, that nigga was knocked out. As soon as the round started, it was over with. He ended up trying to throw at the same time as this dude. Brandon Figueroa's hook gets there much quicker, knocking his ass out completely, man. That shit was heartbreaking. I'd have been mad too if I was a UK fan. But you gotta behave the same way in your wins and your losses. Boxer Sparring says, I think Ball is used to outlanding, says, and outworking his opponent, says, and met his match with Brandon. Yeah, Brandon Figueroa is too much. And even if they rematch, it's still going to be the same result based on Brandon fighting with this type of style. Brandon staying on the outside, having Nick Ball to have to close the distance. Unless Nick Ball can get down a little bit lower. I think Nick Ball was probably up a little bit too high, being this shorter fighter. Maybe he can change levels on the way he comes in when he moves straight ahead. Maybe he's going to have to get a little bit lower because he was kind of straight up when he was walking in. But he was getting off some good shots. He gets underneath punches. He's able to land to the head as well. And then Andrew Charles says, I thought Ball was dominating the second half of the fight. Yeah, when I rewatched it, I didn't see not one moment in this fight where Nick Ball dominated anything. Because I remember you were saying that when I was asking y'all how was the fight going when y'all was talking about him being knocked out. I remember you saying that. But when I watched that fight, I didn't see any moments in the where Nick Ball dominated that fight at all. I didn't see him dominate at all. I didn't see Brandon Figueroa in trouble at all. Brandon Figueroa, Cardio is a motherfucker. That was the thing that separated them. Or maybe it comes back out that maybe Nick Ball didn't have the best of training camp. That could be a factor. It could be maybe he didn't do something in camp. Maybe he didn't get the runs in that he needed to put in. Maybe he was, you know, how what was that? Marvin Hagler. I mean, not Marvin. What was that? Yeah, Marvin Hagler stated, when you know you're making all that money, you sleeping in silk sheets. You don't want to get out and run. Uh, you may take a day off training. Maybe he was doing that shit because Brandon Figueroa never got tired in this fight. Never got tired in this fight. His activity may have slowed down in a round or two, but he never really let off the gas and never looked fucking tired in this mug. Box Sparring says Ball 5'2", says Figueroa is 5'9". Box Sparring says Figueroa kept working the body, kept working him to the body, landing good punches to the body of a smaller fighter and getting away clean with those punches. Blackscut says Fig and Raph, who is Raph? Says and Raph Espinoza says will be award. Says don't think Doodoo Carrington says is ready yet. Carrington holds a title, right? So Carrington got to be ready. If he went after a belt, then you got to be ready. There should be no need of holding champions back. Otherwise, then that's the way you force dudes who not ready from going after a belt. So Carrington is definitely ready, and he should be in the ring with him. And then Thrill Hill says Figueroa was up on 2 cards, says and down on the other says at the time of the stoppage. So he would have ended up winning the fight anyway. He would have ended up winning the fight anyway. And that would have been heartbreaking, but I think it was best to have got to earn the knockout. The referee, the judge would have took some heat. Boxer Sparring says the body shots is had Ball gasping for air. Says Ball had his mouth wide open. Says facts. That's a fact. I was thinking by like round 3, his mouth open and shit. Him like sucking for air and shit. And the thing is that Brandon Figueroa's cardio was on point. Brandon Figueroa just masked the steady damn pace. Just a constant volume, and then and that might have been too much for Ball. Ball was getting frustrated because Ball was doing a lot of just trying to muscle Figueroa back, and it wasn't really working. You know, he was trying to be real physical and press his action because he like a Napoleon syndrome ass short dude. He don't give a fuck about a tall motherfucker. If he can slam you, he gonna slam you. And he was trying to push Figueroa back, and he wasn't really going nowhere. It was moments because of leverage. He was walking him back to the other side of the ring, but it did nothing for him, but tire his ass out. Boxer Sparring says, good breakdown of the fight. Yes, indeed, man. Appreciate that. Velocity Cut says, fact. Says, Figgy style similar to Antonio Margarita. Says, all gas, no brakes. Yeah, he was just like, I'm just looking at it like, damn, this motherfucker is not getting tired. This fool is not getting tired. And that's the one thing I was saying about some of the Mexican fighters is that a lot of times you don't see them get tired and shit. But the thing with Figueroa is Figueroa maintains a volume that's just fucking constant. And so you can tell he's out here getting a road work. One of the deficiencies with some Mexican fighters is speed, though. A lot of them lack speed, but endurance is definitely there. And then Boxer Sparring says, Manny Robles says Figueroa was sparring 14 and 15 rounds. That explained that cardio shit. Says they brought in 6 fighters from Argentina and Mexico. Says with Ball's stature, says to imitate him. Says Robles also said they also use a clicker to count Fig's punches. What a brilliant motherfucking strategy from Manny Robles. And had fucking big dumb fat ass Andy Ruiz not fucking got all Hollywood after becoming the first Mexican heavyweight champion, he probably could have made a few title defenses. And then what'd he do? Kick his coach to the fucking curb and shit. And then Anthony Jones says Fulton made Figueroa look average. But no, I think he made him look that way because of the style in which Figueroa fought him. Figueroa's fighting in that old sloppy ass style he fight in where he laying on you and shit, y'all exchanging sweat. He just doing all this shit and laying on you, punching on you, move to the other side, punch on you, trying to wear you down. Robles changed all of that shit. He may have tried that shit like for sure twice. I think it was twice. For sure he did that shit in the first round after Nick Ball popped his ass. He immediately went to trying to lay on Nick Ball and doing that old stupid ass style. And then he got back out of it because it was like whatever is like, what do you call that, muscle memory shit of what went in the camp? He bounced right back to what he was taught. Stay on the outside, work the jab, land that left hand, throw that left hand. And then Jay Bellinger says Mexicans weaponize their cardio. Yeah, they got very good cardio, man. Very good cardio. They run a lot. That's the one thing you do. They play that soccer shit. There's a lot of running that shit. I know when they start coming into LA, when you have like the sports, they were in the cross country and shit. So they do a lot of that long distance shit. Us as American black folks was always gifted in the sprinting and shit. I think our speed is separated from them. The African, if you see blacks who ran long distance, they definitely got some Caribbean or some damn African shit in them and shit. But the problem that comes with them people who are long endurance runners, you don't find much power that come from them neither. But if they'll wear your ass down. And then Barksy Sparring says Ficky was throwing 1,000 punches in sparring, so he was definitely ready for Ball. Says I don't think Ball was ready for that. No, absolutely wasn't. Absolutely. And I was remember y'all was saying something about the rematch in that other live I did when watching this. I was looking like Ball may have to go and rematch him out of a pride thing, representing his nation type shit. But to be real, he don't want that rematch. Unless he figure out maybe he cut some corners in training camp. If he didn't cut corners in training camp, I wouldn't be shocked to see my boy Nick Ball not take that rematch. I wouldn't be shocked to see my boy reject the rematch against Figueroa. That's just me being honest. Like I say, I like Nick Ball. Nick Ball is a favorite of mine out of these dudes that contend this shit. But I'm going to keep it funky. I ain't going to lie for him. I'm going to keep it 55th. I ain't about to lie for Nick Ball on this one, man. He went in here and he lost his fight by, on my card, pretty wide margin. A real wide margin. Matter of fact, let me go back and score it. Wait, would it let me score? Let me see. Edit scorecard so y'all can go in here. Let me go ahead and give, if I would have scored it, say I would have gave, what's the name, if I would have gave, the final two knockdowns and then went to the scorecards, it'd been 117, 110 on my card. So I really, really, really had this dude dominating this fight. So let me go ahead and just put the stoppage in here. Brandon Figueroa with the KO. And that was, KO 12th round. And that's all she wrote, man. Boy got knocked out. Man, finished my boy. But up until then, without the stoppage, round 11, 102 to 107, I had on my scorecard for Brandon Figueroa. He was just dominating the fight. Like I said, I don't think he want that. I don't think he want that fight. This dude is just too much, man. Just too much pressure from this dude. This dude constantly on you. You get off some shit, he firing right back on you. And then Nick Ball was running into a lot of shit. He was anticipating if Nick Ball went down low, where the angle he throwing that left hand at was striking this dude. If it didn't strike his head, his body right there. He was just like, man, this dude too fucking much. Brandon Washington says, salute, says, let's do a live music performance tonight. Since hopefully you took a nap. Yeah, I'm gonna grab some food real quick, and then we can do a show. Let's go about 2 more hours from now. And then Boxer Sparring said Brandon Figueroa has definitely shown some improvement. Has definitely shown some improvements on the Robles. Oh yeah, it was glaring. It was glaring improvements. Glaring improvements. And then listening to his assessment of what he wanted out of Figueroa's, not going in there just trying to just smother a guy and make it a rough fight, but to go in there and really chop down wood, chop this dude down, work him to the body, and not press for a knockout. The knockout just happened to come, and it wasn't him pressing for a knockout. But Nick Ball trying to exchange the hook. Nick Ball wound up on a punch, left his chin open, and he fired that fucking left hook on his ass. And the Thrill Hill says neither one of them beat Espinoza. I'm not sure who Espinoza is. I would have to see him fight, but maybe that's the fight they're gonna make. But styles make fights, so it ain't no telling what Espinoza would have to face with Figueroa. Because Figueroa, one thing that pressure for Figueroa is definitely something that throws a lot of the people off and shit. So we'll see what happens when they face each other. But that's all I got on this one. Oh, I was listening to the damn the J. Cole album. I like that shit. The first time I listened to it, I was listening like I don't know too much. If I'm really like, it ain't like a banger album until you go back and listen. I knew to not take that thought on it just from listening to a few songs in its initial kind of pre-listen to that shit. When I was like really able to listen and taking the drive to listen, he got some bangers on that shit. And I definitely like the album. Definitely like that shit. And then I ain't gonna label no album of the year or nothing, but it was definitely good. Says neither one of them beat Espinoza. Says Espinoza is 6'1" Mexican. Says at 126. Hey, they got to fight. You can't base shit just on dude being taller than everybody. You gotta see him fight. And then Thrill Hill says Espinoza says 6'1", says beat Rabices. I never thought nothing of Rabices to begin with. I never thought anything about Rabices. What was Rabices' claim to fame? He beat somebody in the Olympics, right? Wasn't that Rabices' claim to fame? Is Rabices the one who beat Shakur in the Olympics or something? I know Rabices got claim to fame for something. Brandon says, let's play it. Talking about the J. Cole album. Says, yeah, says that could be the name of the show. Says we're going to review J. Cole album. Yeah, I'll put that on there. And the box Spartan says, I don't know how the hell, says he makes 126, says being sick, not eating. It's a lot of skinny ass people in society. I be looking at some motherfuckers like, how the fuck do you get that fucking skinny? How the fuck do you stay that skinny? Like, and that's niggas, they don't eat. Niggas ain't got appetites. But I understand it now because it would be like, being older than people and used to have them kids who just didn't eat. Niggas can go like a day or two and won't eat shit. It's just some of these people don't have an appetite. Nigga, I like to eat. I don't give a fuck. And I'm a naturally skinny ass dude. I ain't no mo. But fuck all that shit. It's just, I guess they just don't eat. There's some people who really know how to keep the consumption of food down low, and that's how they able to be 6'1", 6'6", and at all these skinny ass weights and shit. And the Velocity Cuz says he made 20 and cry. Oh, that's what Rabices. But Rabices, I think that was a controversial win. It says Rabices was and to salute the DJ in the building. He says Rabices was a 2-time gold medalist, says, and he beat Shakur in the 2016 for the gold. And I think that was a robbery there. And then Thrill Hill said, but Rabices didn't become shit as a professional fighter. And Rabices started to change. You can kind of see that he wasn't one of these guys who was a focused professional fighter. Thrill Hill says you need to watch him. Says he's tough. I'll check the Espinoza cat out. And Vlasica says I don't like to lose. Says Shakur, and Shakur was cheated. He was cheated. But guess what Shakur became? Like I said, the fighters who've been cheated, end up being great professionals. Roy, Floyd, Shakur. And then as long as Shakur got a long way to go still. As long as Shakur don't become blindsided by money, bright lights, and fame, and bitches on the side. And he lucky he got a little bad broad. And hopefully he stay committed. I think Shakur is one of these dudes that's not like captivated by a lot of broads coming at him. He kind of keep that shit away from me. Remember he was with the Mexican chick. He beat her brother up, Joette Gonzalez. That's who it was. Remember he beat Joette Gonzalez because they family was hating that Shakur was fucking with their sister. And Shakur had to beat him up, and then they broke up after that shit. So he's committed to his one broad. Then he got with this singing chick, she a little cute little chick, and then they got a kid. So he looked committed. So he ain't gonna be blinded by the bitches. I'm pretty sure he's well versed and being around older people of like, man, don't get caught up in these groupie bitches. You get you a bad bitch. Make sure she a freak. Make sure you, anytime you need to get that shit out your system, you got her to fucking lay on top of. Stay in that gym, stay focused, keep earning the big time money. Don't blow your shit. Because you'll be part of casualties of sports fame and brokenness, being back in a poorhouse. And he says SNO is a bad man, all gas, no brakes. Well, that's probably a good matchup. And the DJ says, it was a robbery, talking about Rabices and Shakur. And then he says, no, said Rabices just left his best rounds in the amateurs. Yeah, I think because he didn't, even in fights he was winning on Top Rank, I was just like, no, Rabices don't look like it. He don't look like he's gonna be the next dude. And then Box Sparring says, LWC says Wilder was cheated, says, will he be great again? Who said, did one of them make a video? I was listening to the 178 made, and then now he bringing the Canahan shit up. I said, man, these niggas is something else, man. I said, these dudes is something else, man. Here they go in here incubating this bullshit that ain't gonna have a zero outcomes. And then they attaching that Canahan being a fugitive and that tying into him cheating. They ain't got nothing to do with it. The FBI or whoever looking for Canahan ain't looking for him for no boxing shit. They ain't looking at this fool over no fucking boxing shit. They looking at that nigga over fucking drugs, organized crime, and murder. Like, fuck out of here. They don't give a fuck about that goddamn Wilder and them fight. That nigga in there washing money through Bob Arum fucking crooked ass. It's just simple as that. And because Tyson Fury and them wouldn't testify or whatnot, they've been banned and not being allowed to travel to this country. And who knows? That shit probably over with. It's a new administration. There's a Trump administration. Tyson Fury want to come to this motherfucker. He probably come to this mother. And then, but these fools is crazy with this bullshit they keep running. And the velocity cuts into rolling, and then in the keyboard's right hand says, "Yeah, it says that Cole album jam. Yeah, I fuck with that Cole album. I finally got a good listen on that shit." And then D-Ray in the building, salute. Velocity Cut says, niggas are still crying, talking about Sugar Hill Stewart says the next Panama Lewis, shaking my head. These fools is crazy, man. But it just shows how much of grown dudes can be followers and shit. And then why it's hard for kids to become something of honor and shit, because it's always just the degeneracy of dudes and shit, of who they learn shit from, who is the ones guiding them through shit. Like, these dudes despicable, man. But let me go back out here, go grab something. I really just want to drive again. I just want to drive. And then Daniel Kennedy says, living free in the general and lieutenant's heads. And then also, man, while I was taking my drive, I think I spotted a plane crash. I'm waiting to see some news from out here. I think a small plane crashed into these mountains out here, because I know I've seen some fires, unless somebody created a brush fire. But I think it was a plane crash and shit. So I'm waiting to see if something's going to pop up. Something's going to pop up over that. Da-da-da. Wait, let me see. Let me check this news, because I got the video of this shit. I want to see if I'm going to upload that shit. See if they show up some plane done crashed or something out here in the mountains. Yesterday, I see it. There was a police helicopter crash out there in Arizona. Some pilots going to a shootout, and a helicopter fell out the damn sky. That shit was crazy. And then also there was that news with it was a family tripping that a 3-year-old get killed in a little hostage situation. And the family in here going off. And when I heard the family, the comments from the families, and they going off about the police because this 3-year-old ended up dying and shit. And Metro and them released the damn video, and they showed the little piece of shit ass father holding a fucking weapon to this little boy's head and shit. And they smoke his ass. And then and right before that bullet hit the kid, or maybe out of a reaction after being hit, he squeezed the trigger and killed this little 3-year-old. But here they were thinking they were going to run a lawsuit against the police department, and now they have nothing because a piece of shit, punk-ass dude decided to use his fucking child as a shield, or even about to take the kid's life. But I wonder what led to that shit. What would lead to this dude? It must have been drugs or something. But it's some real piece of shit-ass people out here. But, folks, let me get out of here. We're going to do a music show on the backup channel here probably in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. But I'm out of here, folks. We're going to check out that Cole. Listen to that shit, break it down. And then Velocity Cuss says Savannah makes $8 million a year, says from ABC, says, and didn't have no security or state-of-the-art security cameras for her mom. Says, man, get the fuck. Hey, that's why I did that video, homie. I did that video on that shit. The more I'm listening to that Savannah Guthrie shit, and I'm listening to how they constantly have the cameras in their face, every time I see when the news is allowing like the families to speak, they want to analyze, they looking at body language. They want to see how these people come off. They want to see if these people make mistakes. Let them run their mouths for as much as you can. Anytime you get an interview, let them run their mouth. Because guess what? One of these motherfuckers about to be the suspect in that old lady's motherfucking disappearance. One of them did that shit. If that lady ain't do it herself, then her brother did it, her husband did, or maybe even her kids did that shit. Like, even when they talking about the old lady, I ain't never heard nobody unplug and motherfucker what that shit called, pacemaker, and you don't know him. Like, yeah, right. One of these people did that shit. And then Box Spartan says, did you see Lil Jon's son? Yeah, I saw that. They found that fool in a lake or something. I wondered, did he commit suicide or did somebody toss him in that shit? Man, this is some wild shit out here, man. But folks, that's all I got. Let me get off this joint and grab some food. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.